Hello, folks. Welcome back to another. Jesus Christ, Mark! What? Take it down. Calm down, calm down. Jesus, every freaking episode so far. All right. Welcome, folks, to a brand new episode of the No Sell Roundtable. I'm your host, Joe Monroe, and tonight we're going to be talking about wrestling factions. Who is the greatest? And we're going to try to stay positive. We may throw a little jab at a faction every now and again. But before we get started, let's go ahead and shout out some friends here. First and foremost, Phenomenal Finds ATL. If you're looking for anything retro, check out phenomenalfindsatl.com. They may have it. Also, Charms Photos, Crystal, who is a wonderful person and a wonderful photographer. If you do not believe me, look at James Kendrick chopping the soul out of Adrian Alexander. Adrian, again, buddy, I'm sorry, but this is a damn good photo. So go check out Charms Photos and Les Murphy Painting. If you're having any trouble with any painting needs, contact Les Murphy at 734-334-3702. And it looks like a lot of you is already here, so let's go ahead and let's get our guest pulled up. First and foremost, you just seen him in this picture, folks. He is a great friend of the Joe Monroe Show and a great personal friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about someone that just got beaten by Dijak. Dijak? However you say his name. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome none other than James Kendrick. No belt. What the heck? No belt. What the heck? Where's the belt?
I don't know.
What the heck happened, dude? I'm kidding.
Like 20 super kicks, get kneed in the face, dropped on the hit. Yeah.
Well, good to have you back, man. All right. And we got some new blood coming in tonight. And no, this is not new blood you can chop in the ring, James. This is from Ring Post Daily, ladies and gentlemen, my good and new buddy, Jesse. Jesse, happy buddy? Looking very dapper today, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Well, you're not alone tonight.
Unfortunately.
I know you guys don't get along, but folks, you've seen him this past Friday on the Joe Monroe Show with the very special Friday interview, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about. And please give a big welcome back to Mr. Joey Hudson.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I'm going to pull Breaking Bad on you. What's my name?
I could go Disney on here, but I want to get that freaking song out of my head. And if you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. All right. And you know what, folks? I got another special guest tonight, someone who hasn't been on the show in a while. He is the reigning, defending trivia champion. Yes, someone actually defeated Marcus Fine at trivia. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about from MLW Confusion, Mr. Rob K. What's up, Rob?
Another day, another dollar. Happy to be here.
Good to see you back on the show, man. I'm happy you were able to come to the round table and have a good time. And next trivia night, you may have your work cut out for you because I heard Marcus is out for blood. So
no.
Good luck to you. All right, folks. And, you know, there's a couple of people, especially if you're a big fan of D&D, we always have to have a wizard, right? Right, there's always some kind of wizard. And, you know, we have our very own wizard. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the round table, the wizard, CZ. Wiz, how you doing?
Man, I am feeling the magic tonight.
That's great, brother. Well, guys, we got a wizard, but we also have a mad scientist. He is the leader of Cult X. Sorry, I got to represent those guys, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about the mad scientist himself, SWS.
Joe, good brother Joe. How we doing today?
Good, brother. How about yourself?
Doing all right, man. I just want to give a quick shout out to the wizard. Hey, brother.
How you doing, man?
Doing all right, bro. Doing all right.
All right, gentlemen. Well, let's go ahead. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about wrestling factions. You know, a faction and a stable. I mean, we got two people in here that's actually in an independent faction right now. That's Joey Hudson and the Mad Scientist SWS. One, the Brotherhood Army, the other, Cult X. We'll get to that in just a moment because I got a question for everybody on that. But factions are so important, so instrumental in professional wrestling. Right now, I know, James, you got 10, but to be fair, we want to keep it top 5 wrestling factions. I'll go last. James, you go ahead and go first.
All right. Let's see. I'll probably go with the TNA Team Canada. Let's see. The Varsity Club. The WCW Stud Stable. The Rat Pack. And probably the Dungeon of Doom.
Ooh, good. Why you freaking do a mic drop at the beginning of the episode? Okay. All right, let's move on to Jesse here. Jesse, who do you got as your top 5 factions of all time? No particular order.
Right. So no particular order. Okay.
No particular
Well,
order.
I'll tell you who my number 1 is, because that's who I came into the show with. I wasn't expecting 5, but I'll tell you who my number 1 is, and that is a stable consisting of 4 people who were consistently on the top of their game, still on the top of their game, and just hold so many titles, and that is the 4 Horsewomen.
Ooh,
We're
okay.
talking over 30 singles titles across all 4 of them, multiple tag titles, multiple companies, multiple freaking continents that these women have wrestled on and been stars in, whether it was, Mercedes Moné over in AEW, New Japan, and of course WWE, NXT. Everywhere these women went, just pure gold. So that's my number 1. If I have to give 4 more, I'm going to say for TNA, it's got to be the Main Event Mafia. Always love the Main Event Mafia. WWE, I got to go with New Day. I also love Fabulous Freebirds too. Going back, watching some of their NWA stuff is just, they laid the groundwork for what the New Day would become. And then I think I need one more. So I'm going to have to go again with Evolution. They're sort of, they laid the groundwork for, the other teams like the 4 Horsewomen and, all of those that would come after them, where they were consistent main eventers throughout their entire careers. And they built all 4 of them to become, this homogenous unit that would just take over WWE for over a decade.
Okay, wow, great picks there, great picks. All right, let's move over to your co-host, Joey. Joey, I'm going to make a ruling right now. You can't say the Brotherhood Army.
Ooh,
If I did, maybe my honorary mention.
All right, but go ahead. Top 5 factions of all time.
I gotta go with D Generation X. They set the tone for WWE, I think, in the Attitude Era. You got to say the 4 Horsemen, because they really did. They lived the gimmick. They wore the gimmick on their sleeve. They lived it every day, and that's what made them so iconic. To me, I also have to say Nexus, not because of what they did, but because of what they could have done. The Nexus could have been something big, and they did a decent amount in WWE, but they were held down so much too. But the Nexus for what they could have been. I gotta say the Shield, just because they were I think they were one of the best factions in a long time since they debuted. And then my number 1 is the OG bloodline with my guy, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. There is no one. I mean, that stable was already iconic enough, but Roman's title reign and how he ran it was just perfect. Couldn't get any better.
All right, those are excellent picks. Rob, let's move over to you, my friend. Top 5 factions of all time. Go for it.
Well, in no particular order, I think it starts and ends with the 4 Horsemen, the OGs. Like before that, it's pressed to think of stables prior to that weren't just a manager's think piece, whether it's Jimmy Hart's Truth or the Heenan family. It's Hart's first family, excuse me, Heenan family, etc. just for fun, we also have, I think, the Dangerous Alliance, the original WCW incarnation, has to be up there. They were all world-class wrestlers coming together at just the right time, and at various points, they've all held all the major titles in WCW at once outside of the World Heavyweight Championship, and then they just couldn't take Sting down. Of course, we also have to talk about the Bullet Club and its various incarnations. They may have kind of run out of steam nowadays, but like at a certain level, like you could argue that the most recent boom in professional wrestling is indirectly or directly related to the Bullet Club and the splintering off of the Elite. And then, just for fun, number 4, they're taking over the Northern Midwest independent wrestling scene right now and managed to turn a long-time, well-loved figure to the light. We have SCW Pros, The Chosen. And last but not least, just because this is a Stevie Richards household, the BWO number 1, because they're taking over.
Yeah, that's freaking great. Oh no, now he's doing. All right, I miss having you on here, man. Miss having you on here. All right, Wiz. Top 5 factions in your opinion of all time. Go ahead.
Oh man, it's so hard to narrow down to just 5, let alone 1. So I can't pick a number 1. I'm going to say that right off the bat. But top of my head, no particular order, got to start with the Horsemen. The Horsemen were where it all began. They were the leading faction forever, and they ruled WCW, NWA, all of that. That has to be the starting place. Got to say the Shield. Part of that is regional bias for one Seth Rollins, but I love everything the Shield did. I thought they were fantastic. Evolution has to be on there. Of course, the OG Bloodline, I have to agree that they are fantastic. And I'm going to give a shout out to an old school ROH faction back from when I first started getting really into independent wrestling, and that is Age of the Fall.
Oh,
I think they're
okay.
Their debut alone had me hooked from the beginning.
I totally forgot about them.
That's freaking excellent. Okay. All right. The mad scientist himself. Again, I got to put in the ruling. You can't say Cult X, brother. That's a little, I'm sorry. Ricky can come after me later, but you can't say Cult X.
That's all right. That's all right. All right. So I got to piggyback off Rob. I got to say my number 5, Dangerous Alliance. I think that's really cool that they were brought up. Man, they had so many cool members. Paul E was there, with the old school Zach Morris phone. Love the Dangerous Alliance. Number 5 would be them. Number 4, some people may hate me for this, but I'm going to put them at number 4. I'm going to go D-Generation X. Only because if you look at it, yeah, it was a faction, but how many different versions of that was there? You know what I mean? It kind of played itself out. To me, D-Generation X will always be Rick Rude, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and China. To me, that's the OG DX. I'm going to get some heat for my number 1 here in a minute because I'm going to contradict myself. But after that, I definitely got to go with Main Event Mafia. Just an all-around amazing group of talent. I mean, everybody in that group. It was really, and my favorite thing about Main Event Mafia, here's my favorite thing about Main Event Mafia. The tag team champions in the TNA were one half of 2 of the greatest tag teams of all time, arguably. Steiner Brothers, Harlem Heat. You had Booker T and Scotty Steiner, man. That was really cool. And then I gotta go NWO. No one said NWO, I don't think yet. NWO changed the landscape of professional wrestling. Hogan spray painting the belt was one of the coolest things ever. Number 1, because they're still doing it, man. And no matter when you think they're dead, they're not. Bullet Club. Bullet Club War Dogs. Bullet Club, OG Bullet Club Elite. They're they are professional wrestling. They are in every major and independent scene in professional wrestling. So my number one is 100% Bullet Club.
All right, not a bad choice. I would have to pick. You guys are probably going to make fun of me. No particular order. Filthy Animals. I think they're underrated. The LWO, the original LWO, a little underrated faction. I wish they would have went by a different name because I think them going under the LWO name kind of hurt them rather than help them a little bit. We'll discuss that here in a minute. Evolution, the Four Horsemen, and God, it's hard for me to pick. Probably the Heenan family. Those would be my picks. I would say Dangerous Alliance, but the Heenan family kind of beats Paulie just a little bit. But those are my picks. But you know what? We do got some questions here that I have for everyone. But before we get into that, I want you all to know I had to create a new website because I had some issues with it. And Tony here introduced me to Redbubble. Now, Tony, go ahead. Well, let's explain. What the heck is Redbubble? We moved to Redbubble.
Yes,
right?
Joe, you are 100% correct. We are officially on Redbubble under Joe Monroe Show. For some odd reason, they won't let us add the. But we have No So Round Table stickers. We have Mark Monroe design stickers. Really, you put Mark's design, but not mine. And we even had some t-shirts. So go check us out right here at Joe Monroe Show on Redbubble. And if you know any designs that you want, let us know. But here is the website link right here. Go check us out.
Not only do I have new merch out, Mad Scientist, I'm going ahead and pull it up for you right here, brother. New Cult X shirts are out. That is the design right there.
The Sheepdogs.
The Sheepdogs are out. And not only that, I have a big announcement for everybody here on the No Sell Roundtable. We have a new friend to help plug us. That is right. We have a brand new Wookie and Sons. They are an Etsy shop. They do 3D printing. They are awesome. They just started out. That is their design. So go check out Wookie and Son on Etsy and go see what they have. Whether they take credits or not, I can't tell you. So all right. Well, gentlemen, let's go ahead, and I have a pretty good question. We'll go ahead and play Who Was Better. First and foremost, I want to say this. This is probably going to be a nut. Think I'm nuts. Who was better, the Filthy Animals or DX? Because a lot of people want to compare and contrast the two nowadays, especially those going back to the network and rewatching WCW and WWF. Some people are leaning towards more as the Filthy Animals being, more relatable and more charismatic versus what DX did in the 90s. So, Mad Scientist, you're up first. What do you think?
All right, here we go. I got to go DX. D Generation X, like I said, the OG group to me will always be like when I hear D Generation X, I think of Ravishing Rick Rude, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and China. Hands down, DX. Filthy Animals, nothing against them, but here's the thing. I personally can't tell you who was in there besides Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman, and I don't personally like either one of those guys. I thought Billy Kidman was a joke. Rey Mysterio, can't stand him. Once he took the mask off, put the mask back on, yeah, get out of here to me. But DX was kind of like NWO, man. They changed the game, They were in so much trouble doing the things they were doing. And then that DX literally helped save WWE from WCW's NWO. Go back and watch the Monday Night Wars. NWO took over. What they beat them 86 straight weeks in a row, but
83.
DX was the 83, right? Okay, 83. Yep. Well, DX was the reason that WWE even held on. Sean putting the it was joked that it was a tube sock. It was actually an ace bandage wrapped in his crotch. But Sean doing that, it's like you got to look at it like it's kind of uncomparable to me, Joe. It's going to be DX because I mean I remember getting in trouble. I mean maybe a lot of us did, getting in trouble in school. Suck it. You know, like it, you know, like DX helped change the game as far as pro wrestling. They were doing things. One of my favorite moments they ever did was when they wore the little Santa Claus hats on their crotches. You know, I mean, stuff like that. You know, like the Filthy Animals to me, they don't really stick out as far as a good faction because again, I can only name 2 members in that group because to me it just wasn't important at that time. I just think Filthy Animals were kind of thrown together and they were doing this hip hop thing. I do remember that they were Ray was doing like the baggy FUBU stuff or something, but yeah, I definitely got to go DX on it all the way. They again changed pro wrestling. They made pro wrestling cool like the NWO did. Like it was cool to be a 13-year-old, 14-year-old kid.
Okay. James, what do you think?
It's a tough one because I like both, but I'd have to go with DX. It's the same thing with what Mad Scientist said. Everybody got in trouble in school for going around just doing that little number. Now, the Filthy Animals had more members. They didn't really do that many funny skits like DX did. DX was just more entertaining. But Filthy Animals had, of course, there were the cruiserweights, so they were usually first, second, and third match on the card, so you got to see all the good high flying. Then DX was usually main event, so I'd have to go with DX.
Okay. All right, Rob, what do you think?
I have to go with the general consensus with D-Generation X. I mean, really, in retrospect, what is the Filthy Animals really known for? Unmasked Rey Mysterio, who looks like a 12-year-old. And they continue, and WCW's continued reliance on doing something in the foreground with Disco Inferno. Let's be realistic about it. D-Generation X, when we think about Attitude Era moments, like it's Austin, it's DX. Like those are the 2 like videos that we see ad nauseum. Whether you actually like their antics or got tired of it, like it doesn't matter. Like that's what we saw. And like even when they added members in after Sean left, like it was made memorable. Whereas like Filthy Animals, like it was just a bunch of guys for the most part, but like they helped the New Age Outlaws ascend to the upper mid card, putting their stamp of approval after the Chainsaw Charlie Cactus Jack feud. And who can forget JR's reaction to the return of Sean Waltman? Oh, look what the cat dragged in, and just to go on a nonsensical like ending tirade, DX had a tank. Or so they tell us.
Fair enough. All right, Joey, who would you pick between D-Generation X and the Filthy Animals?
I have to go with everybody else, D-Generation X. Because to be honest, you look at any formation of DX in any era, and they go down as one of the greatest factions or stables of all time. The Filthy Animals, yeah, they had a lot of great stars, but like Rey Mysterio really wasn't that big of a star until he a few years later. They didn't really move the needle in the attitude in the Monday Night Wars enough to say like, look at us, we're doing something over here. D-Generation X, on the other hand, you were swapping channels back and forth to see what NWO and DX were doing. No one ever swapped the channels to see what DX and Filthy Animals were doing.
Absolutely.
A lot of great stars within the group, don't get me wrong, just not needle movers like DX were. And plus, you got to think all the world titles, all the classic moments that DX had. You can make a playlist, 50 of the greatest DX moments. You could not do that with Filthy Animals. Maybe a top 5 or 10, maybe if you're lucky. But DX was just more legendary. They're all Hall of Famers right now, by the way. So definitely have to give them the edge on that. And plus, you got to think the booker they had behind them too counts. Eric Bischoff did not know how to run a stable, apparently, but Vince McMahon knew what he was doing with DX and gave them the freedom and encouraged them to do it. So I got to say DX on my behalf.
Okay. Jesse?
Well, let me see here. There will be dick references. You will see China's uncut salami. I gotta go with DX. Come on, it's not even a challenge. Like everybody else has said, they were needle movers. When you talk about people who changed the zeitgeist of pro wrestling, it's DX. Like everybody else said, you got in trouble in school because of DX. Nobody got in trouble in school because of because of, like you said, Stevie Richards and Rey Mysterio. I will say this is a nepotism, pick for me because I'm not that, familiar with 90s WCW, so I can't really speak too much on it. But what I can say from an outsider looking in, I've never even really heard of the other faction. What was the name again?
The Filthy Animals.
Filthy Animals. Thank you. I'd never even heard of them. But I mean, you go to any 13-year-old in the 2000s and ask, who are DX? They know who DX is. But that's my 2 cents on it.
Okay.
To be honest, Filthy Animal sounds like a 5-year-old clothing line.
Well, CZ,
that's one of the best answers I've heard tonight so far.
You're a WCW fan, CZ. So who are you going to pick? You going to stick with WCW, or are you going to side with everyone else with D-Generation X?
One of us. One of us.
He knows
Thanks,
the answer.
So, as much as I want to give 2000 WCW some credit for their god-awful product, it's got to be DX, hands down. I mean, whatever iteration of DX, whether it's Shawn, China, Rick Rude, and Hunter, or it's the New Age Outlaws, or even later on when it was just Shawn and Hunter coming back.
Yeah.
The hits that they put together were brilliantly crafted. I think back to the Nation of Domination skits in particular. The one that stands out to me is when they brought in Jason Sensation as Owen Hart.
Phenomenal Owen Hart impersonation, by the way.
I was a goddamn road sign.
Enough is enough.
I am not a nugget.
I'm not a nugget.
His impressions alone should have got him into the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm just saying.
100% I agree. But no, hands down, it's DX. There's no question.
Okay, and I'm surprised no one mentioned the Hart Foundation when they mentioned factions. That's kind of weird.
It's about longevity, though.
Well, yeah, got a good point. Well, let's move on to who's better. We're going to keep up with this: the Dangerous Alliance or the Four Horsemen.
Oh, now we got challenge it.
Oh, here we go.
Now it's going to get challenging.
Here we
it's going
go.
to get really challenging. So
All
you know what? Here's you know what? Who can we start with? Let's mix it up a little bit. Jesse, I'm sorry, Joey. Why don't you go ahead and start off with this, brother?
I gotta say the Four Horsemen, just because, like I said, they lived that gimmick. Ric Flair went on to wrestle for God knows how much longer. But I mean, every time you thought of Ric Flair, you thought of two groups: the Four Horsemen and Evolution. And still to this day, when you think of Ric Flair, you think of them. I think back in the day when they were in their prime too, the Four Horsemen. I mean, you couldn't turn when you thought of wrestling back in the day, you thought of the Four Horsemen. The Dangerous Alliance, they were good. Don't get me wrong, but like the Four Horsemen kind of made it a faction be cool, and they kind of made that what's the word I'm looking for? They kind of just made that word faction mean more, if it makes sense. Like when you wanted to join a faction and you said, "Who can we learn from?" Four Horsemen were definitely one of those groups that you could take something from.
Okay. CZ.
So I will preface this. I have a lot of love for the Dangerous Alliance. Paulie and that team, they had a lot of great talent. But the Four Horsemen, in my mind, are what started it all. The whole faction revolution, the Horsemen, are where it begins. They are hands down one of the best factions ever to come into wrestling. And like Joey said, you can't think of Ric Flair without thinking of the Horsemen. You can't think of I can't think of Arn Anderson without thinking of the Horsemen. It just hands down for me. Like I said, the Dangerous Alliance were great. Horsemen were where it was at.
All right. Mad Scientist, what do you got, brother?
Brother, I gotta go for Horsemen. Just for the simple fact, again, not to piggyback off the last two conversations that we just heard. Ric Flair, Arn Anderson. All right, here's the thing though. Now, I may be disagreed with, but when I think of the Horsemen, I have two versions of the Horsemen.
Okay.
I have the Horsemen that did this, and the group I'm in, we turn that into that. It's an ode to the Horsemen. It's an ode to Flair and Tully and all those guys. But yeah, definitely the Horsemen. But I just want to say this really quick. And again, I may get disagreed with. But when I think of the Horsemen, I think of Flair. I think of Tully. I think of Anderson. You got to go with the OG Horsemen as far as the four. And I got to throw Pillman in there. Like, okay, like here's the thing. All right. Horsemen lived the gimmick. They were suits. You know what I mean? Like they wore the suits, they looked good, they smelled good, limousine ride and all the stuff that Flair said, that was the Horsemen. But the Horsemen, when I was growing up, the Horsemen was the Horsemen. The other group of the Horsemen to me was Flair, Anderson, Pillman, and I know his name shouldn't be mentioned to some people, but I'm going to say it. I don't care. Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal Horseman. I loved Pillman. And you know, it was really hard for me not to mention the Hart Foundation. I know they got brought up because Pillman was my dude. Pillman's my dude. I loved Brian effing Pillman. Man, he was awesome. I thought he fit the Horseman to a T. But yeah, Horseman for sure. Horseman, they changed wrestling, like like ZZ said. They started the faction. They lived that gimmick, man. They traveled together, they ate together, they slept in the same hotel together. You know, they partied together, man. Yeah, Horseman all day.
All right. Rob K, who do you got between the Dangerous Alliance and the Four Horsemen? Who do you have?
I mean, this hurts me because, like, I think I was the first one to bring up the Dangerous Alliance in our starting party here. But obviously, I also said that the OGs were the Four Horsemen. And so I have to give the nod to the Horsemen. Again, just because, for the most part, up until the Horsemen, you really don't think of stables unless it involves a manager in some sort. A stables, like there's exceptions, like the Freebirds started out in like the late 70s and whatnot. But for the most part, when you think of stables, again, you had Jimmy Hart's first family, the Heenan family, and it was just a group of guys surrounding a manager. Really, up until this point, you didn't see too many groupings of individuals with a collective cause of holding the titles and basically indirectly holding a company hostage by taking up all of their box office with their salary by themselves. And even then, like they started this trend, and we're still seeing this trend now because people want to be horsemen. Like we have these various faux offshoots of the Horsemen that we don't necessarily see an offshoot of the Dangerous Alliance running around, but we have the Four Horsewomen, we have the Extreme Horsemen, we have the Rogue Horsemen running around MLW right now. Like, you know, everybody wants to be a horseman like 40 years later. And as much as I love the Dangerous Alliance, no one's clamoring for the giant shell phone to clomp over somebody's head. And even then, like, it goes back to my previous point. Like, even then, the Dangerous Alliance was a poly dangerously stable, not necessarily a collective group of individuals for a cause.
Okay.
Is it unfair for me to say that Evolution was kind of like, to me, the second coming of Four Horsemen?
That was Triple H's
Yeah.
Yeah, but like they were kind of like, they kind of remind me so much of them.
It was the second.
Yeah.
Would you say it was the evolution of the Horsemen?
Oh!
Zing.
Honestly,
All
guys,
right, Jesse.
I honestly think that's why they were called Evolution. Because they
I agree.
were the second coming of the Four Horsemen. I mean, they were 4 talented individuals. Yeah, they were the second coming, and Evolution was a very fitting name.
Okay. Yeah,
Look at the talent that they had. Look at what those guys did. Look at what the Four Horsemen did.
Just the way they carried
All
themselves
stars.
remind you of the Four Horsemen.
Suits, ties,
The suits, the titles, the ties,
Helicopters.
the limos.
Yeah, women. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, women loved them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Evolution was the best thing that they could moniker themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, second coming of Four Horsemen. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Let's see, Jesse. Who do you have? Dangerous Alliance, or you want to be everybody else and go with the Four Horsemen?
So I will say both of these are kind of before my time. I started out as a wrestling fan more so around 2009, but I have gone back and watched things from both sides. What I will say, instead of glazing the Four Horsemen, because I think that's kind of, all of our direction here, I want to go and I want to talk about why the Dangerous Alliance isn't on that level. And I think it has to do with a bunch of very good ingredients, but all in different stages of their career in that stable. You have Paulie Dangerously, of course. This isn't ECW Paulie Dangerously. Yeah, yes, he was mostly, but he was still kind of being censored, so to speak. He wasn't himself in WCW. You have Primordial Steve Austin before, Austin 316 and, even Stunning Steve Austin, where he was, or not stunning, but million. What was he?
Ringmaster.
Ringmaster. Thank you. I was trying to think of what he was when he was with $1 Million Man. But yeah, so I mean, we have Primordial Steve Austin, Arn Anderson, who is not the caliber of the NWA Arn Anderson or the AWA Arn Anderson. Like, he was kind of over that hill. Like, yeah, he was still good, but he wasn't a young man so to speak anymore. Like, he was kind of getting over that hill. Not quite there yet, but he was getting there. So, like I said, a lot of good ingredients, but at the wrong time.
Okay.
So yeah, I gotta go Four Horsemen or Horsemen.
No, that's good. That's great. Really good answer. Really good way to look at it. All right, James, who do you have? The Dangerous Alliance or the Horsemen?
I'm going Dangerous Alliance.
Oh, okay. Why?
You had legitimate tough guys. Rick Rude, Bobby Eaton, Arn Anderson, Stunning Steve Austin.
Medusa. Larry Zbyszko.
And Medusa.
That's Zbyszko.
Medusa. Yeah. That chick was crazy. But,
Was?
well, she still is. But,
Sorry, Medusa.
She's out there driving monster trucks.
look at the Hall of Famers that are in the Alliance. All of them. Now, saying the Horsemen, yeah, they're the original Horsemen are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But all the members of the Alliance, Dangerous Alliance, is in a Hall of Fame.
You have a good point, but if I can kind of poke a hole in it, are the individual members of the Dangerous Alliance in the Hall of Fame because of their time in the Dangerous Alliance? Because I would argue most of them did their generational work, did their Hall of Fame worthy work outside of the Alliance.
Yes, it was outside of the Alliance, but still, they were Arn Anderson alone was the best, and he was in both factions.
Fair.
Now, it does raise the question, when they did the invasion angle in WWE 2001, is that where they got the name The Alliance from?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, like, you got to think, maybe that
Most
legacy
definitely.
carried on so much that WWE was like, we got to do something with that. They were the Dangerous Alliance. We can't copy that, but we can name the ECW, WCW combination The Alliance.
Yeah.
And if it would have had like Hogan, Nash, and Hall in there, man, that would have been one hell of a
was-
line.
I wouldn't have brought those three in.
Both those groups. So yeah, I can see that. The Alliance, the Dangerous Alliance. I mean, Heyman was the forefront of both.
Yeah.
So they did kind of make a comeback, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just
So,
dude, going back
you know,
to Barry effing Windham.
underrated.
That was Horseman right there.
Underrated.
That was the fourth guy I forgot to mention when I was naming my Horseman. But yeah, going back to the Alliance, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that was great.
You know, I mean,
Forefront of that.
you got Bobby Eaton, world-class athlete.
Stunning Steve.
Stunning Steve.
Stunning Steve.
Just couldn't
World-class
figure anything
athlete.
out with him in WCW. Just wasn't right for them, right?
And I honestly feel like Stunning Steve deserved more. And
He did.
Hollywood Blondes were amazing. They're one of my favorite tag teams of all time.
If they would have put Pillman in there with the Blondes, Pillman with the Alliance, even
oh my
better.
God. Those guys as a tag team, oh my God, it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
I mean, you got your tag team. You got Sabisco and Arn Anderson.
Yep. Medusa.
You got Bobby. You got Bobby Eaton as your mid-card champion.
Yep. Rick Rude's your world guy.
Rick Rude is the top guy.
Yep. I agree. 100%.
Rick Rude was very underrated. I guarantee I will put money on it.
I agree.
He would outwork Ric Flair any day of the week.
And he looked good
really?
in the damn suit too.
I would put money on it. If Rick Rude and Flair would have wrestled in each other's prime, Rick Rude would have outworked him.
That's a big mic drop there, James.
Oh, yeah.
Rick Rude was your girl's favorite wrestler before Chris Bay. I'm just saying.
This is true.
I mean,
and he looked good in the suit.
So Dangerous Alliance all the way.
All right. Well, let's go off something that one of yours.
You didn't do yours, Joe.
Yes, I did.
When?
I said it. I was like, I got to go with Dangerous Alliance.
Okay.
Because I'm it's my show. I'm just going to say it's Dangerous Alliance. So,
which I do want to point out, by the way, if the Alliance in 2001 was like kind of like the second coming of that group, Stone Cold technically was in both versions.
I gotta apologize. He's sort of like the ADHD Make-A-Wish kid of our podcast. So I'm sorry Joe brought him on.
I'm the wrestling nerd. You go through my Wikipedia. Hey.
I mean, if we're just
going
to argue random semantics, I mean, Larry Zbyszko had been allied with the 91 Horsemen, so he participated in their war games in lieu.
He did.
Oh, good Lord!
Jesus Christ!
Make-A-Wish kid. Jesus.
I'm the Make-A-Wish kid that learned wrestling facts.
All right, let's move
me.
on to the next. Who's better? All right, the WCW or TNA Team Canada.
Ooh.
Which version of Team Canada was better?
This won't take long.
DZ, since Joey's a Make-A-Wish kid, we'll make him go second to last. Well, sorry, nothing funny about Make-A-Wish kids, but it is funny because it's Joey. CZ, we'll go with you first. Which version of Team Canada, WCW or TNA?
That's a tough one because I'm not as familiar with either one as I'd like to be. I don't even remember who was on each of those teams other than I know Scott D'Amore led the TNA. I know Lance Storm was in WCW. If I could be serious for a minute,
nice.
I'm probably going to lean towards WCW more because that's in my wheelhouse. and I just don't know TNA as well as I would like. But that's really just biasy on my part for not tuning into TNA as often as I should have.
Okay. All right, Jesse.
I gotta go TNA. You talk about Scott D'Amore, Eric Young, Josh Alexander in the later years, later year, I should say, because he wasn't around that long, because it was kind of like a one-off this last year here, but that's besides the point. I want to talk specifically about Petey Williams, because that is the man that got me into pro wrestling, because as I would have been 14 years old. I was flipping through, and again, this is 2009 TNA. I'm just flipping through channels, and all of a sudden I find TNA. It's a 6-side ring, so I stop, and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And I'm watching them flip around and whatnot, and then I see the most devastating move I've ever seen. I don't even understand how it works. It defies gravity, and it's the freaking Canadian Destroyer. Petey Williams puts somebody away 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I gotta see that again." And that's how I became a wrestling fan, was because of Petey Williams. So I got to go TNA.
Can I just say, Petey Williams is the only one that should be doing the Canadian Destroyer. It is ruining the business right now, because everybody does it. I'm sick of it.
Panama.
Even Ricky Morton does it.
No, Canadian Destroyer.
And Virgil did.
Dustin Rhodes did it like a month ago.
That's like
he took 2 of them.
That's like his fake finisher is the Destroyer and variations thereof.
I'm sick of seeing people doing the tombstone too.
Dude,
it's not a transitional move.
What about super kicks? Like, every wrestler has a super kick in their arsenal. Like, it is overdone.
Kick. No, okay. So
I do not.
Kick, here's my philosophy on it when it comes to a finisher. So a finisher is supposed to be a move that you as a wrestler can do better than anyone else. Shawn Michaels made me believe that with the super kick. Anybody else, I have never seen not one person make a super kick look as damn good and as crisp and as good of a finisher as Shawn Michaels. He made that move a finisher.
Yes.
But that move existed before him, and it exists long after him as a transitional, as a regular, mid-match move. It's not sacrilege to use a super kick, and that's what kind of irritates me sometimes about the IWC is they're all, too many super kicks. What is it? What do you want them to do?
Yeah, but like where I'm getting at is when Shawn Michaels did it once or twice in a match, it was out of nowhere. Holy crap, it just happened.
You're right.
But when you're watching a Young Bucks match, it's every other move. And
that's because he made it special, though.
I have a feeling that instead of going to wrestling school, they went to super kick school, and that's what they learned.
I think the reason that Shawn's was so cool was going off of what you guys were just talking about. I think what made Shawn so cool is the fact that he tuned up the band. Like, he made you feel like, oh, I'm going to hit this. And even if he didn't tune up the band, when you seen HBK hit the super kick, you knew it was over. And if they kicked out, you're like, oh, shit. They just kicked out of the super kick. Nowadays, we see the super kick left and right, and it's,
I mean, is it overused? Sure.
And
But it's not like the Canadian Destroyer, the Tombstone, where it's like sacrilegious.
Canadian Destroyer is one of the greatest moves of all time. I'm sorry.
And I'll play the Chris Hero role on this. Like, when it comes to strikes, there's a certain magic to a knockout with a strike. So it is believable for it to take more than one strike to take someone out. If you're dropping someone on their head, and not just a Destroyer, but I'll throw it out there for all pile drivers, like, seeing anyone kick out of just a pile driver that's done properly annoys me. Like, yes, like if I throw a punch or I kick you, there's a chance you may not be knocked out. But like, honestly, if I just drop you on your head using all of my weights, like even like I'm smaller than some of the guys that use the pile driver, but like I'm still a 200-pound man. Like, you're probably going to be like severely hurting if I just jump up and thump you on your head.
Right, just like how Kevin Owens, how Randy Orton sold Kevin Owens pile driver this past Friday.
Yes.
Or a couple Fridays ago. Like, sold the crap out of it. But Shane, so Jesse, you're saying TNA, Wizard, you're saying WCW. Mad Scientist, what are you saying? WCW or TNA Team Canada?
TNA, 100%. Petey Williams alone was Team Canada. That dude, Little Papa Pump, I mean, come on. Like he played
Maple Leaf Muscle.
He played that
Maple
game
Leaf
so well. He was very underrated, in my personal opinion. He was Canada. Like that guy was a star the moment he walked through the curtain. He looked good from day one, and then they gave him the gimmick of, "Hey, you're going to be Little Papa Pump." And he bleached the hair, and he wore the chain malice headset or headgear, and he did everything. But yeah, Canadian Destroyer, that was his thing. I mean, that when you saw that move, you're like, "Yep, it's over." Sorry, I'm sorry if you're doing that maneuver to somebody, and I've obviously been in the wrestling ring. That's devastating looking to the fans. I mean, and that move has been copied. It's been called what? The Mexican Destroyer, the
Panama Sunrise.
Yeah, Panama Sunrise. Yeah, is that it's
The Bunny Destroyer with Bad Bunny.
Oh yeah, the Bunny Destroyer.
Say what you want. He
Damn it,
made that
Justin.
shit look good.
He did do it good.
When it comes to TNA for sure. Yeah, that I'm like I said, Eric Young, amazing talent. Loved what they did with him. Scott, amazing talent. I just ran action. I thought it was very well done. If you're gonna, the only thing I wish we could have saw is maybe we could have saw a Heart Foundation member in there somewhere somehow.
True.
But other than that, yeah, it's TNA, Team Canada all the way.
Okay, Rob, who do you got? WCW or TNA Team Canada?
I'm going to throw out there that I do have a soft spot for Team Canada WCW version, just because I like a lot of the stupid humor that was kind of that swirled around them indirectly, like Lance Storm renaming all of the championships when he won them all, etc. Like,
Cool.
I feel like I was more entertained by WCW Team Canada just because that's my level of humor, and
That's the one redeeming quality.
Yeah, and like I'm a firm believer of wrestling as a circus, and every circus has to have clowns. And outside of Lance Storm, who's a wonderful straight man, like the rest of the stable was kind of a joke. Even when they brought in Mike Awesome, like by that point he was a joke. And let's face it, like any stable that has the Quebecers in it, however long they were actually in the group, like it's kind of a joke. Whereas Team Canada TNA, like. Looking at the overarching like grouping of it, like they were a combination of trendsetters and future world champions for the most part. We already talked ad nauseum about P.D. Williams and the effect he's had on the industry. Robert Roode and Eric Young, both future world heavyweight champions, with just in TNA alone. And like, let's not forget like another name we probably shouldn't bring up terribly often, and for good reason, mind you, but Teddy Hart. Teddy Hart was in the original incarnation of Team Canada, and like as problematic as he is, like he was such an innovative, like talented high flyer back in the early 2000s. Like his talent couldn't be denied. It was just the everything else about him that held him back. So really like Team Canada was kind of like the proving grounds of young talent that would, that was very early into their careers. And obviously like most of them that were that core group went on to go do bigger and better things.
Right. Well, that's a really good example. Honestly, when I think of Teddy Hart, I just think of this.
I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring, and then I start eating garbage.
Where'd you get the excerpt of Joey on TSW?
Just to play nice on camera, I will say I have a finger on my hand, and you can guess which one's for you.
All
Joey,
right.
I just want to preface this by saying I can't see your hands on camera, and I don't want to know where they are.
Yeah.
All right, children, play nice. Joey, WCW or TNA Team Canada?
Okay, so like I would have to say if you're going at name value, I have to say WCW, just because I love seeing the Canadian hardcore title, the Canadian TV title. But my answer is WCW. But I do want to say that even though they were called the Hart Foundation, that to me is the original Team Canada. Because after Brett turned heel, it was all how great Canada is and how bad we suck. I remember like promos like Canada pays for healthcare and takes care of their people, and America doesn't. To me, that was the original Team Canada. Just because you had to hate Canada when you watch Brett and them do that. You're going at name value, though. I will say WCW just because the comedy skits and to me they're more memorable. But I mean, at least to me they are. But man, like that, like he said, how great would it have been to see like a Bret Hart come out and just take over that group as a manager or a leader, even, and just lead it into the right direction. That would have been a real big power move too. Like, oh crap, we're Team Canada now because we're led by probably the most Canadian hero you could think of, Bret Hart. Like that would have been a game changer right there.
I have a question for those who were watching it, kind of at the time, because I didn't get to, and I haven't dabbled that much. Was Bret Hart in WCW same time as Team Canada was?
Technically under contract, yes, but
because I remember
it retired.
I was about to say, because I know
Thanks a lot, Goldberg.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know Bret was in WCW for a long time and they did nothing with him. And I mean, I'm not just talking about after Goldberg. I'm talking before that. Like, yeah he won the tag titles. And I don't even remember if he won the world title or not, but I know that they didn't
never
use
won
him.
the worlds.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
U.S. champion. No. But hey, guys, let's not forget, we're talking about Team WCW Canada. Let's not forget the greatest Team WCW Canada team of all time, the NWO. Do you guys remember the Montreal Screwjob? Obviously, remember when NWO came out the very next night?
Yeah, the whole Canada.
We're Team Canada now. Like Bret Hart's coming to join us. There it is, right there.
And then freaking Mr. Perfect sang "Old Canada." The national Canadian
athlete. I was waiting for somebody to bring this up, but how can you even add? I don't remember which one you did, but how can you add the NWO to the greatest factions of all time when they had like 52 members or something like that?
That's how they're the best, is because they've infiltrated everywhere because of that. There's so many of them.
Yeah, they can be Team Canada, they can be Team Zimbabwe for all I know, with how many people they had.
To me, the NWO, like the true NWO, was Hogan, Hall, Nash.
Yeah.
6, because they were all WWF/WWE guys.
Uh-huh.
And then you added Rick Rude in there, /Ted DiBiase, and then they had one WCW guy, and that was the Giant. That was the Big Show. Yeah. That should have been the NWO. It should have been cut off right there.
They shouldn't have ever kicked out Mike Rotunda. Mike Wall Street.
It just got ridiculous after a while. It was like, damn, like you tune in to WCW Monday Night Nitro, and you're like, well, shit, who's going to be a part of NWO tonight? Because
exactly.
Every Nitro, somebody was joining NWO, and then after a while,
NWOs are we going to have?
Boring.
Yeah, like we talk about how Tony Khan gets all these guys under contract because he wants to fill his toy box with the action figures, but NWO was
exactly
just
what he's doing.
Was Hulk's action figure collection.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, rant over. I just had to point that out.
Not to interrupt anybody, but I just want to say that was the greatest Tony Khan reference I've ever heard, because I say the same thing to my wife and my kids all the time. Tony Khan is playing action figures as we did as a kid.
Well, not only that, he won't lay off the Bam Bam.
Like, okay, the guy, I will give him credit where credit is due. Number one, he has a mind for, collecting these guys and giving us these dream matches. I will give him that. And number two, he has the money to pump these guys, pockets full, which a lot of them deserve. Like WWE can't, provide for everybody. They can't, take everybody on the market. So I'm glad that Tony Khan has deep enough pockets to do this and kind of, stroke his ego, so to speak. But it just gets a little excessive sometimes.
But keyword is collecting.
Yep. Yeah.
Here's the greatest thing that Tony Khan's ever done. He brought CM Punk back to professional wrestling.
He did.
I'm just saying. That's the greatest thing that man has ever done and will ever do.
Yes.
All right. Well, speaking of egos, James. WCW or TNA Team Canada? I already know what the answer is.
TNA. Well, there's no doubt.
I mean, judging by your background, I already knew the answer, but
yeah, TNA Team Canada. Granted, yes, I love some Landstorm wrestling, but TNA is Team Canada. Petey Williams, Bobby Roode, Eric Young, Scott D'Amore. I care less about A1, but Eric Young was the comic relief, but he can go. Bobby Roode was the rich prick, and Petey Williams was your cruiserweight. Hands down, TNA.
all right. Well, there we go. All right, gentlemen. This one's going to probably be very argumentative. Probably will say one and the same. Bullet Club or the NWO?
Really?
Oh, that's just dirty.
So really
Dirty.
good, brother? This is what we're gonna do, right?
Management wants you to differentiate between.
And
the
we got
two,
one more after
and
this.
I can't tell the difference.
We got one more after that. You know you're screwing me, right? Like,
I'm sorry. I just got to.
this
was before you got your answers out.
You're killing me.
I feel like we need some ground rules for this one because each one has like 50 members.
All right.
If you're talking about the entire lineage of both.
No. We're going to talk about the original Bullet Club and the original NWO lineup.
Okay. All right.
So we'll say the OGs, for example.
The OGs.
So Rob, we'll start with you first.
For sticking with just the OGs, like that's still a really tough choice. I am going to I don't know if it's unfortunate or not, but I am going to give the nod basically to the original, to the NWO, only because the Bullet Club, like even kind of in its infancy, but later as it moved along, like took a lot of things from the NWO, whether it was Too Sweeten or if it was some of the the adding of 30,000 different members, etc. But like just being, I would have been about 13, and so like I had seen like most of the rise of Hulk Hogan, and just the fact that like seeing Hogan turn at Bash at the Beach just blew my adolescent mind. Like that was like I was not like, I stopped being a Hogan fan at that time because like he wasn't cool anymore. Looking like I'm an edgy teenager now. Yeah, look at me being a cool 13-year-old. And then like watch him just telling everyone to stick it, and that every piece of garbage in this ring represents every one of you. Like just blew my mind out of it. And then backing him up, like, and he could be the mouth now too, like, because he had two guys that were, well, Scott Hall, it was debatable whether he was whether he was bigger than Hogan or not, but like you're not going to argue a legit 7-footer in the form of Kevin Nash. And then even like later on when they started like during the initial phases of adding people, like they did like Sean Waltman is the definition of workhorse, especially before that second neck injury. I think just because NWO influenced Bullet Club so much, I'm giving the nod to the NWO, but the Bullet Club deserves their flowers because they've arguably like caused this secondary revolution, the second Monday Night Wars kind of thing, if you will, thanks to everybody and their mother wearing Bullet Club shirts to WrestleMania, and Hot Topic being like, those are cool shirts. Like, what wrestler what guy's on your roster that has that? And they're like, oh, yes, that's not us. Whoop-de-doodle. So like, but it still traces back to the NWO.
Right. Great answer, Rob. Jesse, NWO or Bullet Club?
So this is why I asked for clarification, because if we were going strictly on how the groups evolved, Bullet Club beats out NWO, takes them out to the woodshed. But if we're talking about the OGs, if I'm thinking of the 4 OGs for Bullet Club, it's got to be Bad Luck Fail, Prince Devitt, Carl Anderson, and Tamatonga. And then what's that?
Machine Gun, Carl Anderson. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Machine Gun. And then if we talk about the 4 OGs, essentially for NWO, the people think about it's Six, Hogan, Razor, and Nash. And so when I look at those 4 side by side, it's kind of clear to me who wins out, and that's got to be NWO, just based on the name value and who did more. But like I said, that's why I asked for clarification, because afterwards, everything after those 4 for both goes more in the Bullet Club direction for me. We talk about how, the Bucks came in, Kenny came in, Cody came in,
Evil.
Evil, Jay White, all these people that Bullet Club attracted, and we've talked about how their longevity. Bullet Club has been around longer than NWO was around, so they have the lasting power too. But just based on the primordial forms, it's got to be NWO.
All right, SWS. What do you got? Who do you got, brother? Bullet Club or the NWO?
Man, Joe. Here's the thing. Before I give you my answer. Obviously, I was looking very forward to this episode of the Roundtable. I knew this topic was going to come up. I get shit all the time. Excuse my language, but I get shit all the time. Bullet Club, man. Bullet Club.
Okay.
Why? Because NWO, they didn't start the Too Sweet. The Click did. Sean, Hunter, Six, Sean Waltman, whatever you want to call him, Hall, Nash. They took a universal hand sign that they saw in Germany, which means family, and they brought it back to the States and they used it, I will say this, NWO, man, damn it. Joe, I knew you were going to screw me on this, brother. But damn it. I got to go Bullet Club, man, because I got to piggyback again, because NWO, they did what they did. Hogan was not cool anymore. Everybody was a Hulkamaniac, and Hogan was boring. And then when Hogan turned heel, Hogan was cool as hell again. And then it was like they kept adding members that didn't freaking make sense. And it was like, man, y'all should have stopped at 6, like I said earlier. But Bullet Club, they took something that they watched and they made it cool again. And me personally, that's what myself and Cult X is doing. We're taking something that we grew up on and we're making it cool again. And the thing about the NWO and the Bullet Club, they were both heel factions, right? But then they became face factions because the kids were like, man, these guys are cool. These guys are the good guys. Well, that's what Cult X is doing. That's what my group's doing. We're making it cool again to like the bad guys, to like the heels. And I got to go Bullet Club just because the NWO died when they started doing too many members. They died to me when it was the WWF/WWE guys, right? Were the NWO originals. And then you had a Big Show in there. And then that was the one WCW guy that was added in. And that made it work and it made it cool. But then all of a sudden, all these other WCW guys started branching off and becoming NWO and, whatever. And then you had LWO and God knows whatever, something WO, factions. Bullet Club, like I said earlier, they're my number one because just when you think they're dead and gone, they spring back up. You look at the original Bullet Club. Machine Gun, Carl Anderson, Tama Tonga, Bad Luck Fale, Prince Devitt. You know, he started the group. They made the Too Sweet cool again. And then, you know, AJ Styles came in and he executed Prince Devitt out and he took over. And then Kenny Omega, the cleaner, arguably the greatest wrestler on the planet. I'm sorry, but he is. Argue me, guys, but Kenny Omega is the greatest professional wrestler on the planet right now. Like, he goes 90 minutes like it's nothing, you know, and like until you step in that ring and you work 10 minutes, you're like, damn, I just worked 30 minutes. No, I worked 10 minutes. Kenny Omega is arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Canadian, you know. I gotta go Bullet Club, man, because the names alone. Hogan and Hall and Nash made NWO cool. But Bullet Club made the Too Sweet cool again. Bullet Club made wrestling cool again. One of you guys mentioned Hot Topic. Yes. Bullet Club shirts were in Hot Topic, man. You know, that's cool. You know? Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Matt Nick, Hangman Adam Page, basically the Elite. You know, the Girls of Destiny, who are killing it right now in WWE with the, you know, they're part of a major storyline in WWE with the, you know, OG bloodline and new bloodline, I guess you want to call them. But yeah, man, I got to go Bullet Club because NWO did what they did at that time and they made it cool. But Bullet Club ran it back and they're like, nah, we're going to do it our way and make it cool. And Cult X, my group, we've made it cool again to be like, it's cool to cheer the bad guys. And I take pride in that. And I look at Bullet Club and I go, we did that. The kids too sweetest. The kids high five us because we're cool in their eyes. Bullet Club is cool in worldwide eyes. And NWO created it, but Bullet Club took it to a whole new level. Bullet Club, I gotta go. Greatest faction all time.
I like that's how your guys are. Like, you guys are trying to make being bad cool again. Because in our faction, the Brotherhood, we're the opposite. We don't want to be cool. We don't want to be liked. We want people to hate us so bad that they're trying to cross the barricade. We don't want people thinking we're cool. We want them to hate us.
What are you talking about? Stop. It can't.
I had
hell was that?
Nothing to do with that. No, but I agree though. When
you're supposed
like,
to start
we
production
wanted to be,
what the hell?
We wanted to be like
sorry guys.
We're the Hills. You know what I mean? Like
we freaking my cat out.
Like we wanted everybody to hate us. And then we were hated for years. And then all of a sudden people are like, damn, we kind of like these guys. And it kind of goes back to what NWO was. They were hated, but then they were liked. And then Bullet Club were hated, but they were liked. And, you know, it's kind of weird. Like, I was talking to Joe the other day. By the way, your shirt and armband's on the way. But, because he's a member. And that's just too sweet, 4's down. But no, man. It's weird, man. I talk to my guys all the time, and I'm like, when the hell do these kids start liking us, you know? But again, it goes back to the NWO.
You know,
but they were super cool, man. You wanted to like them. All the way.
I just wanted to add something. I know I've had my turn here, but because you're talking about the NWO and Bullet Club, I think it's interesting too to look at why both factions were created. NWO was mainly created as sort of a way for these post, WWF guys to go into WCW and kind of make it their vision. It was a safe spot for them to be like, hey, we're just going to do our thing here and we're going to do it our way. Whereas Bullet Club, they were born out of a necessity for Gaijin, wrestlers in NJPW to be able to have a landing pad to, introduced their craft into a totally, different market. Like, yeah, Gaijins had gone over to New Japan and been like, hey, here we are, we're going to wrestle a match. But nobody had ever broken in to them like, Bullet Club did and gave them a landing pad for that. Like, we wouldn't have Kenny Omegas or Jay Whites or anybody like that if there was no Bullet Club.
Well, see, like
Yeah.
that's kind of what my group did, Cult X. Like, we are the underdogs. Like, we are the guys that, who are looked at like, oh, okay, you guys are the mid card guys. You guys are this. You guys are that. And then, thankfully and fortunately, we band together and we were like, all right, we're going to start this group. And you know what? Let's just take over. And fortunate for us, we're able to, to do that, and that's why I got to give love to Bullet Club, because like I was telling my good brother Rob, the other day, I was like, man, we were fortunate enough to, to be those guys. Like, when we started Cult X, like, we wanted to be the greatest group in independent professional wrestling. Like, we want to be those guys. Like, we want to be the guys that, we're the undercard guys. Like, we're the mid card guys. Like, but hey, guess what? We're main event now. And like, to me, that's what Bullet Club did. Like you were saying, we wouldn't have the Kenny Omegas. We wouldn't have the Jay Whites. We wouldn't have the Young Bucks or Generation Me back at that time. And I just think it's really cool, man, that the fans are able to decide what they love and what they don't.
Absolutely.
And I'm just thankful that I'm on the side that, like I said, man, we're the cool guys. Joe knows we're the cool guys.
By the way, Joe, off topic, but if you find whoever is doing those hacks or whatever that is, because they're attacking my show too. I want to speak with them. I want to persecute them to the fullest extent of the law.
Mark's supposed to be in charge of production. He doesn't know what's going on, but we'll get into that here in a minute. CZ, your answer: Bullet Club or NWO?
So I will always give the Bullet Club their flowers for everything they've done, but for me, it's got to be the NWO, and here's why. They brought change to the industry when a change needed to happen. Not only did they change the dynamic of what pro wrestling or sports entertainment is, but they forced the other company, they forced Vince to change his mindset and change what he does and turn things around so that it brought in a new audience. It made things fresh and new and more, well, I don't want to say more pop culture. That's not the word that I'm looking for, but it kind of is. It made things stand out more to the casual viewers who maybe would come across this and stay for a couple minutes. It made things more relevant in a time when the industry was in a lull.
Okay. Good point. Joey.
One thing I was going to point out is, before I give my answer, I love a good loophole when it benefits me. Me and Scientist, when we were naming off our factions, I know we couldn't list our own. We should have just listed each other's and got each other's stables in that conversation. But
I like that.
Yeah, we should have, man. Ultimate heels. But
I like that.
But I'd have. Oh my God, this is okay. So this conversation right here, who's better between these two teams? This is like literally having 99 shiny pennies and having that one dirty, corroded penny, and saying, it counts. Because
you'll always be my corroded penny.
Because thanks. Because first off, I like the Bullet Club, but I hate too many reincarnations. I don't like that in a stable. And secondly, the NWO, they were cool for a time, but when you have 52 members on your team and you literally have to name the whole product NWO/WCW programming, dude, you are like literally shoving us down our throats. I mean, you thought they were shoving Roman down our throats, dude. NWO was the ultimate shove down your throat type of situation, and if I had to pick one, I would say NWO. I was never a Hogan fan, shoot me, but you know, I guess it was a good way. If anything, if I can take any positive out of NWO, I would say it was a good way to, get that Hogan that everyone was getting sick and tired of and bring a new version of him. And it was cool for a bit when it was just them and maybe even with the addition of $1 Million Man the Giant. But once they got too many members, it just got old to me. Bullet Club, I am surprised if Vince McMahon didn't look at that and go, damn it, what's Bullet Club? I like it. Let's buy it. But
I agree.
Yeah, like I'm surprised Vince McMahon didn't throw money on the table and be like, damn it, let's put it on our product. But yeah, I will give credit to Bullet Club though. Shit, when your shirt is being sold at Hot Topic, you freaking made it. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, it's like when, yeah, exactly. Like when your shirt's being sold in a major store across America, and people are walking in going, "Oh man, I can buy this."
I just think so many people
marked out about it.
I think so many people marked out about it. I know that thing. It's at Hot Topic. It's cool now. But I have to say NWO just because they I think they did more revolutionizing the business than Bullet Club. That might be an unpopular opinion, but they really did make Vince. I mean, if you think about it, NWO really did inspire DX, even though DX might have, been more iconic in my eyes. NWO was like, hey, we have to have a faction to compete with this faction, and so they were like the kind of like the blueprints that DX followed to become them. They did step it up and did in WWE. They forced WWE to step it up when it came faction wise. And back to the conversation earlier, when you were switching TVs, you were looking at Austin and Hogan, Goldberg and Rock, and you were looking at DX and NWO. So I'd say NWO as a whole, just because of how legendary they were, and still today, I think one of the two of the top merchandise sellers in WWE today is Austin 316 and NWO shirts. So to be around that long and still be a merchandise seller today at that caliber, I mean, you had to be that good. Who's to say 20 years from now people will be buying Bullet Club shirts? But there's going to be fans out there who's definitely going to have an NWO shirt in their closet reminiscing about that.
Not to mention, too, I just want to say really quick, brother, not to mention, if you guys don't mind, man, how cool was it as a kid to switch back and forth?
Oh, my God.
That was so awesome. I remember videotaping Monday Night Raw. Well, originally, I was videotaping WCW Nitro. And then I was watching Raw live, and then I'd go back after school or after Raw went off the air, and I'd watch Nitro. But then when the NWO came in, it was like, oh, shit. Okay, I'm going to watch Nitro and record Raw, but then I would still switch back and forth. Commercial break. Oh, I'm going to switch over and see what these guys are doing.
Well, see, like back in the day,
so awesome.
Too, you got to think, too, back in the day, if you didn't have two TVs and couldn't record one, and we didn't have all these sites, like you literally had to pick a side and then read about it somewhere. Nowadays, these kids have it so spoiled with streaming networks and
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever,
and websites. Like, dude, these kids can be like, oh, I'm going to watch WWE tonight and then go watch New Japan or AEW like right afterwards or tomorrow.
Exactly.
Kids don't know how hard it was to choose between a wrestler and a faction. You might have been a WWE fan, but you wanted to watch NWO. Or you might have been a WCW fan, but you couldn't miss Undertaker and Stone Cold. Like, kids nowadays don't know how spoiled they are. We know. We here all know the struggle.
My son is 16 time to be a wrestling fan. He gets
the opportunity, like if he, like my son's 16, if he misses a pay-per-view, it's easy. You come home and you just throw it on the network and you watch it.
Yeah,
I wish we could have done that. Like we had to film. We had to record stuff. We had to film it. And like yeah.
Funny thing is like my nephew's just now 13. He's picking football over wrestling, but he used to be a big wrestling fan. And every time he's like asking me something about wrestling, I'm like, "Did you watch it?" "No, I watched the Bengals game." "I ain't telling you. I'm a douche about it." I am. But it's like, dude, you
You want to
betrayed.
know, you watch
You were
it.
my little wrestling fan growing up, and now you're all about football. Like, no, you want to know what's going on in wrestling? You watch. You contribute to the ratings. If not, you read like I did.
All right, James. NWO or Bullet Club?
Bullet Club. Just for the simple
Straight off
fact
the
that the
bat.
Bullet Club never had Virgil.
They never had
Oh my God.
Oh, Vincent.
Vincent.
Oh,
Vincent, get it right.
Vincent, Virgil, whatever.
Vincent was the man, though. I mean, he was the man.
He was the head of security. You had to have him.
He was the hired security. Exactly. Always showed up in the NWO hoodie. When he was with Stevie Ray, he had the slapjack in the back pocket. Oh, Vincent, man.
Hey,
All right.
But honestly, I would have to go Bullet Club wise. Talent wise, Bullet Club.
Yeah,
Omega.
There.
Again,
All right.
arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Kenny Omega.
All right, gentlemen. Here's one that's actually going to kind of sort of divide two people here.
Really? I thought we just did that.
No. Till 5 Wrestling,
Damn it,
yes.
Joe.
I realize Notorious ATV did say it's his idea, but he was busy doing Nostalgia Show, which I'll blame him. So big shout out to Notorious ATV for this big idea. Bullet Club has Chase Owens. I mean, Till 5 Wrestling has a good point. Chase Owens is the Vincent of Bullet Club. Come on now.
He is. He is the white Vincent.
the white Vincent. He had to point out the color.
But this is definitely going to probably be a big debate between two people who are in here.
Oh no, I know where this is going.
Damn
Brotherhood Army or Cult X.
Really, dude? Come on.
That's not fair.
I'm a member of the Brotherhood before it was a freaking army.
And now you're a member. So were you a member of one and now you're a member of the other?
I'm the first Brotherhood world champion. How do you think I got that on my fucking wall?
Are you trying to start a World War
Cult
IV?
X? So
I mean, I'm just saying.
This is how World War gets started.
We're talking about factions.
This is how World War gets started.
Joe, you're killing me, Joe.
No, you know what?
Joe Monroe Civil War.
I'm going to leave Joe.
Yeah, it's becoming the Joe Monroe Civil War. That's
I'm going to
exactly
let you
what
guys
it's
go
becoming.
last. I'm going to let you guys go last. Let's let these four gentlemen decide first.
Joe.
Rob, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but judging how they have acted today, you can do that alone. Who would you choose? The Brotherhood Army or Cult X?
I mean, I'm just going by the fact that I'm a member of a cult. I mean, I'm a member of Cult X, but I'm a member of another cult. So I guess Cult X.
Are you safe?
Thank you.
Is that one of those fun ones with leather and whips and stuff?
If I
Well, he just came home, so you're
the
getting your
important
armband
thing
and
is
t-shirt.
when I die, I go onto a UFO pleasure saucer for the rest of eternity, while you guys are all burning and exploding. We're in a cool
Dude, that
UFO
sounds
cult.
like straight up a cry for help. So I'm in a cult.
My life
Someone
is a cry
help
for help. Obviously, you have not met me. My entire existence is a cry for help.
I'm just saying, if you call Pizza Hut and tell them that you need help, they'll do it.
Oh, good.
I'm not calling Pizza Hut. They're garbage.
Whoa.
That's just Rob's opinion, Pizza Hut, not everybody's. All right. So
Better than
you're-
Domino's. I'll give them that.
Okay.
Send your hate tweets to the Nova of Cass.
But if we're going to do a hierarchy of things, it's still it's Pizza Hut, Domino's, the one called Manders. There we go.
Ooh.
A shout out for CZ there.
You're wanting him to like pick your teeth down your throat. Jeez Louise, you gotta leave Manders alone, bro.
He's put his hands on me. I've survived.
Well,
I witnessed
anywho,
Manders
Jesse.
chase him around a parking lot a year or so ago.
I say he's attacked me in a parking lot. He's attacked me in a bathroom. He's given me a patronizing 8x10. Like
I know about that one.
It,
That's a great, by the way.
it's great. I have to give him that one.
Well, I'm bored. Deuces. Well, okay. Bye. All right. All right, Jesse. Cult X
Oh.
or Brotherhood Army? I mean, I'm probably already kind of guess, which one you're going to go with.
Well, you think that. I will say that I do not know much about Cult X. This is sort of my first foray into learning about them. Brotherhood Army. It contains one member who I feel like is a son to me at this point.
Thank
who
you.
I have. Shut up! You'll get your turn. I've helped mold this man into the podcast host that he can be.
Stop it.
And the other hand, I also have this festering shit pile that is Joey Hudson. So I'm torn between which I go with, because I could just not offend anybody and go with Cult X and say, hey, I didn't want to pick between you, but if we're talking about the actual wrestlers in these factions, I have to go with the Brotherhood Army, because Joey Hudson is not a wrestler. He is a parasite that has leached on to Eddie Wade within the Brotherhood and sucks the charisma off of him.
Wait a minute. Eddie Wade chose me as
psychotic
the answer.
Joey, wait your turn. Wait your turn, Joey. Wait your turn.
Yeah, wait your turn.
You'll have
Trash.
your time to speak.
Here we go. Here we go.
All right,
But yeah,
James.
I gotta go with Brotherhood Army.
James.
I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid. I got to go with the Colt.
Here we go. See?
There we go.
Why not?
Welcome home, brother. Welcome home.
It doesn't help that you are near Indiana too, so there you go.
Tomatoes.
I do just want to interject. I do want to hear more about the pleasure UFO and whatnot. I don't know if my pagan gods will allow me, but I'm willing to at least hear them out. Like
your money's green. It's fine. I mean, it's cool at our end.
You should ask him about his hot tub full of pizza rolls.
I don't want to
Here you
know.
go, CZ. Just for you. I wore this just for you.
You can't talk to a fat guy like me about that. That's gonna get my nipples hard.
Oh,
Dude, that
Jesus.
does sound pretty awesome.
All right, CZ. Brotherhood Army or the Cult. Yes.
So I'm not familiar with either yet. I plan on him getting familiar with both here in the near future, having been on the show. So I appreciate that. But I've been on a show with the Mad Scientist before, and I'm gotta say I gotta drink the Kool-Aid on this one.
All right, now it's time. Now it's debate time. It's debate
I'll
time.
see you
folks.
soon, brother. I'll see you soon.
Joey Hudson.
So first off,
Why should people? Because I know your Brotherhood armies, but why should people choose the Brotherhood Army over Cult X?
This is like The Bachelor.
well, first
Why
off,
should you get the rose?
The Bachelor.
you had your
The
time,
Bachelor.
sir. You had your time.
Hang on, y'all.
First
Let him speak. Let him speak. Because
Being called a leech.
not here. So
Being called a leech of my wrestler Eddie Wade is bullcrap because he chose me to be his manager. Secondly, I have to say our group because, well, it's our group, but we are full. Our members right now is Master Sergeant, a real American hero. Put his life on the line, now he's putting his body on the line. We got the genius of the ring, Austin Michaels, who, if he was on this show right now with us, I swear he'd be the highlight of the night. You got my wrestler, my favorite wrestler of all time, Eddie Wade, who is just killing it in TSW. And then you got yours truly, RPD champion, which that should right there make it a landslide. But the Brotherhood just stands for everything that's wrong. Like all the things you want to do, you want to do all these things in life. You don't have to, and you can't do them. Brotherhood's over here doing them. We're sitting here beating up our bosses. We're over here. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, we took down people after people. I mean, the Brotherhood's always coming back stronger and better. And no matter who they put in the ring with the Brotherhood, Austin Michaels is always 2 steps ahead. He's always thinking of a game plan. And with a leader like Master Sergeant on our team, we have great execution. And then Eddie Wade just himself alone. I mean, you talk about good looks. That guy could sell posters for TSW.
I just want to say, if I am Derek Murphy and Thurston Cade at the next TSW event, I am beating the shit out of you for not mentioning my names. If I'm those two.
Well, I forgot because he's out injured. Actually, I forgot all about it, to be honest.
Austin
But yeah,
beats that
even
midget.
Wild Shout. I mean, like, dude, he was smart and made the move. I mean, Joe Monroe, for a fact, was the smart one out of the bunch because he chose to have me not on once but twice, and I have to give that credit to the Brotherhood for having me in there. So you had a Brotherhood member on twice. You were part of the group too. You know.
We'll get that. I'll get to my point in the moment, but
You better.
thank you for your time, Joey. Mad Scientist, SWS, please, sir, go ahead, educate him.
Well, I got to go ahead and say this. The greatest group, the greatest faction in independent professional wrestling is Cult X. We are the good guys. We're not the bad guys. Joe, you know this. That's why you're a member now. You're an official member. The shirt's on the way. The armband's on the way. The membership card you already received from my right-hand man, who is no longer my right-hand man. He's the man, Ricky Guns. We're the good guys, man. Everybody loves to hate us, but everybody loves us because we're just too sweet, right? But here's the thing. Cult X is the best mix of every faction that we've already talked about. Guys, here's the thing. Cult X is the best mix of the Four Horsemen. Force down. Because we're better than the Four Horsemen. We're better than the Dangerous Alliance. We're better than D-Generation X. We're better than NWO. We are better than Bullet Club. We're just too sweet. We're for life. That's what we are. Joe knows it. Joe knows why we're just too sweet. Joe is a member because he came home. Gentlemen, here's the thing.
Can you
I
turn
am
your
the
head
mad
sideways?
scientist himself.
Can
I
you turn
make
your head
deals.
sideways?
I make deals. That's what I do. I'm the devil himself. I make deals. Joe and I, we have an agreement. Joe saw the light. He drank the Kool-Aid. He let the light guide him home. Joe's home. I got to go Cult X. Like I said, man, I don't know what it is. I just want to say this. I don't know what it is, man. I'm just, man, fuck kayfabe for a minute. I just want to say this. I just want to say I'm very thankful and I'm very humble to be able to do professional wrestling. I'm very humble to live the life that I live. I'm very humbled by the fact that the fans obviously automatically hated us, and obviously they're starting to come around, and they're starting to too sweet us, and they're starting to high five us and cheer us a little bit here and there. I just want to say thank you to the AACW fans and the FEW fans and the NGW fans, who cheer us. Thank you guys very much, man. It's very cool. Thank you for seeing our vision and letting us do what we do and just be us. And I mean, we've never changed. I'm an asshole. You know what I mean? I hate everybody, but apparently everybody loves us and they love me. And that's really cool for me. So, again, nothing against kayfabe, but fuck kayfabe right now. I just want to say this. Thank you to all the fucking fans, man. Just, for loving us and loving what we do. But Cult X all the way.
I do have to relate with you in a way, though, because, like, I always wanted to get into wrestling podcasting. I never thought I'd get into the wrestling business. And, like, I bet from, like, you and me, man to man, you probably have a soft spot in your heart for your group. It probably means, like, very, very much to you. And I can honestly say, like, when I first started this wrestling stuff, I was managing like random people and not going anywhere. My wrestler Eddie Wade picked me out of the bunch and said, "Make him my manager." Then when he joined the roster or the Brotherhood, I went with him. And ever since then, it's been a roller coaster. It's just been fun being part of that group. Like, it's something I would never imagine me doing. You could ask me like 10, 15 years ago, like, hey, you think you're going to be in a wrestling group called the Brotherhood and just have fun? I would have told you no, because I would never thought it was happening. But I love my group just like you love yours. And I'm actually so loyal to my wrestler that if anything ever happens with the group or without it, I'm with him. So I have to give my wrestler Eddie Wade a lot of credit for bringing me into that group and bringing me into this ride in general. Like you said, fuck kayfabe. Just being in our groups alone probably brings like a lot of joy to us. I mean, it's something we're always. I mean, if you're like me, you're always thinking of ideas. You're always thinking of how can I make this group better just on my end? How can I do this or that? It's almost like every other thing. You're like, dude, that'd be excellent for the group.
I literally work and I don't sleep because I work and then like I'm constantly thinking of things. But like I told Joe on a previous episode, I'm very fortunate to be able to work with guys that I've known most of my life. In professional wrestling, you don't really get that option. You're either kind of thrown into something and you got to figure it out, work it out. I was very fortunate enough to be, thrown into something that I was able to create with my little brother, Rob. And I was able, to pick and choose who I want in the group. Guys I've known forever. My oldest son, the Tanner Kelly, one half of the AACW Tag Team Champions, my creation, Experiment X, Justin Danger, the whole damn thing. If you guys don't know who Justin Danger is, check him out, man. I mean, this guy, dude, he's done it all. He's seen it all. He's been everywhere. Guys like Jake Elliott, newest member of Cult X, Jake Elliott, yeah, man, it's just like I said, it's really cool when you're able to, be put in a position where, you're able to have fun with your buddies. So when you walk through the curtain, you're going to have fun because you're with your brothers, and again, I'm blessed. I'm humbled. I love the fact that the fans are starting to cheer us.
Thank you.
I love it, man. Like, pro wrestling is pro wrestling, and love the fans. Love the fans. Too sweet to all you guys.
Well, I gotta be. I can't. Well, I'll give my answer. First off, I want to say that if it wasn't for the Brotherhood or Austin Michaels, we debuted in the Brotherhood the same day. He's the one, as well as the Professor of Professional Wrestling, Roy Keith Young. If it wasn't for them two, I wouldn't have this. Yes, I know it seems like a replica world title, but this is the first version of the Brotherhood world title. I am the first one. I wouldn't have had that, nor do I care about having any other title but this one. That's special to me, even though I threw it down. The Brotherhood, it was a band of brothers, people, friends, family. I mean, dude, apart from breaking kayfabe, we had dinners at my place, dinners at other people's places. That was what the Brotherhood was about. But I left the Brotherhood for a reason, and I want to keep that reasoning to myself. And then years later, I joined a cult, so I got to go Cult X. So there you go. Sorry, Joey. Too sweet, 4's down.
Yes, sir.
Hey, and just like you said about your title, me holding this Ring Post Daily title and bringing it over to the Brotherhood, keeping it in the Brotherhood, that right there is like a big goal for me. Because, like, I want people to look at the Brotherhood and be like, oh, they hold the TSW tag titles, they hold this, they hold this. I mean, like, if anything, like, I would take my faction and my part of being in the faction and being a manager, like, very seriously. And I don't know, I want to ask Mad Scientist this, because I don't know when we'll be on the same show again, but have you ever had to go to bat for your company?
100%. Yeah. I've went to bat for the company. Here's the thing. I'm gonna be 100% real. I take pride in what ACW puts on my plate. I take a lot of pride in that. When they ask me to do things, or there might be times where I ask to do things because I don't think they should do them. Yeah, 100%. I take a lot of pride in that. I take a lot of pride in my guys. I take a lot of pride in the roster. And, you know, there's times where I'm called or I petition to be the guy to do things that necessarily need to be done. And
Right.
I want to be the guy to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it just comes down, Joey, to like, I love what I do. Again, I'm fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. I was given a very cool opportunity right off the bat, and I've taken it very seriously. And yeah.
Well, the reason I asked is because I just met that. I just had to do that the other day, yesterday. Some guy, he said his dad used to wrestle for this TSW stuff down here. And when I met his dad, he was just, him and his son were both saying, like, oh, they don't care about hurting each other. That's a crappy company, blah, blah, blah. And I've never been, like, you know, face to face with that. Because everyone in court, everyone here in my area, Corbin, Kentucky, and all that, they love what we do. And when they said that, I had no choice to go to bat for him. And I told him, I was like, dude, we do so much charity work around the area. And we're nonprofit, you know, our guys go out there and put bodies on the line and get hurt all the time, and all the money, every penny goes toward the causes. And I've seen the guys, like, yeah, in the matches, they are wrestling for real. They are trying to win them titles, but they're not going out there and trying to, you know, swing a chair and knock your head off. They're just trying to win their matches. They're trying to do what any other wrestler would do. And I asked you that because, like I said, I met that conversation the other day, and I wasn't so happy about it. It was like kind of like an insult to me. It's like you're insulting the company that I work for, and you're insulting me by insulting them. And one thing I'm proud of about like what we do too is like everyone trains hard, works hard, and then we go out there and put on one hell of a show and raise as much money as we can, whether it's for a football team or a kid or whatever. I mean, we are doing everything we can for these people, for these charities. And it's just, if you can tear down a company that does so much for so many people, like, that says more about you than it does the product that you're putting down.
Right.
And
Well,
I hate, and I'm not really trying to self-promote nothing, but I sent Joe Monroe a QR code, since we're talking about the charities we do. Right there on the screen, on the 30th, we are having a show for a little boy named Carson. He's very sick and has an illness, and we are doing a fundraiser for him. Last time we did a fundraiser for him, we raised over $800 for him and his family. And this is my first time getting active within the charity work. I'm really trying to step out of just being a manager and being part of the product, and actually trying to do more for someone else than I can for myself. So that QR code, if you want to help a little boy out, just scan it on there, scan that QR code and donate if you can. And every penny goes toward the little boy and his family. And I'm gonna send the paperwork and everything to Mike Murphy, the guy that makes sure the money gets to the boy and his family. But I just want to self-promote that out there. And if anyone wants to help a good charity cause and you love wrestling, this show right here, that little boy in the middle, that QR code is pretty much a link to his bank account, because that's where the money's going. So if you feel generous and you want to donate and you love wrestling all in one, me, the kid, and TSW in general would very, very highly appreciate it.
all right,
And,
don't forget.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. Lane Camp Baptist Church, 215 Lane Camp Church Road, Corbin, Kentucky. Doors open at 5, showtime at 6, November 30th. Adults are 10, kids are 5. So Battle for Carson, round 2. Go out there and support them, y'all, because it is a good thing they got going for this kid, especially what he's fighting for.
I'll also, at the event, I'll also be selling wrestling collectibles and like wrestling figures, magazines, everything you can think of. If there's a wrestler on it, WWE, WCW, whatever, I'm going to have a booth there selling that stuff. I'm also going to have a picture of the QR code, so if you can't pay by cash, you can pay there. I'm also going to try to have like some snacks and stuff there that you can purchase. So I'm really going all out as much as I can for this. And like I said, if you can't be at the show and you feel generous and love wrestling and doing something positive, right there's that QR code.
All right, folks, go ahead and help them out. Joey, thank you for that. Gentlemen, any last remarks? I know, Shane, did you try to speak up? Sorry.
I just wanted to say this really quick. Joey, I just want to say, man, I think it's great that you're doing what you're doing, man, for the kid and the family. I love that. I do want to say this really quick. Please add me on Facebook. You can find me Cult X, so it's Cult.X on Facebook, or you can find me at Shane Eugene Timmons on Facebook. I'd love to link up. I'd love to hook up and, you know, share some ideas and stuff like. There it is, man. That's just too sweet, Joe. Thank you.
Just saying.
But yeah, man, if you could link up with me, I'd love to do some stuff with you, brother. I love giving. That's something that my heart just. I know I'm a hill, but like it doesn't change the fact that my heart's, you know, beating red, and I want to give out, you know. But on that matter, Joe, if you don't mind, I just want to plug something really quick. I just want to say that the company that I mainly work for, Home Base, AACW Professional Wrestling, All American Championship Wrestling, we're doing a toy donation. We're accepting toys, money for shopping for toys. We're doing gift cards from Walmart, Meijer, Aldi's, whatever. You know what I mean? We're trying to help out the victims from, you know, the hurricanes and stuff down south. We're doing our next show is December 21st. It's AACW Clash Before Christmas. I hope I don't get beat up too much. But yeah, like I said, it's AACW All American Championship Wrestling Clash Before Christmas. We're going to be doing a huge toy giveaway. Again, we're accepting gift cards, whatever, you know, whatever you guys can donate or whatever. You can hit up, you can message me personally, and then I can relay the message, or you can message my good brother, Ryan Perkins. You can find him on my friends list if you add me, or you can hit that search bar. And again, it's Ryan Perkins, or AACW. But we're trying to get back to the kids, man. We want to make this Christmas really cool for kids. You know, Cult X, you know, kayfabe or not, you know, we always say that we're the good guys, and you know, my kids are gonna have a good Christmas, and because my wife and I work hard, we're gonna make sure that the families that, you know, can't provide, you know, their kids have a good Christmas, and that's something that means the world to me. That's something that's always meant the world to me. Anytime I, you know, have a chance to give, I try to. But again, like I said, you can hit up AACW. That's All American Championship Wrestling on Facebook, or hit up me at Shane Eugene Timmons, Cult X. That's Cult.X. You know, Ryan Perkins on Facebook. But yeah, anything that you guys would want to give or can give, is going to go to kids to have a great Christmas this year. And Cult X has put together a pretty cool little basket that we're going to give away next month in December, on December 21st. And yeah, like I said, other than that, man, you know, check out Cult X on Facebook. Sorry guys, when I talk about kids, man, yeah, just like I said, man, just yeah.
You know,
We're just trying to give kids a good Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, we just want to help out. You know what I mean?
that's funny you bring that up, because I remember one Christmas I gave this mom messaged me on Facebook. She knew, she saw all my wrestling figures. She said that her kid was a wrestling fan, and asked if I could give her anything. I gave her almost every wrestling figure I had in a book bag and a ring and all that. So I gave it to him. How far are you from Corbin, Kentucky? Do you know?
Maybe Kentucky, maybe like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay. I was gonna say if I can work something. Where do you live at, Monroe?
We're in Marion. Well, I actually live in Marion, Indiana. AACW is based out of Kokomo/Sharpsville. It's like a 10-minute drive in between.
Well, the reason I asked for Monroe is if he lives anywhere close to me, I would like to try to get some items for you, for your toys and stuff like that. I'd like to try to get them to him, and then if you guys can work it out, shipping wise, or maybe try to get them. It's kind of hard for me to get to the post office, honestly, because I don't drive. So if I could get them to Joe somehow, and you guys could work it out, I'd like to help you out with that as much as I could.
Yeah, like I said,
we'll talk.
We're doing the whole toy, donation thing, and like I said, it doesn't have to be toys. It could be gift cards for families to go and shop for the kids to get what they want, or groceries, or gas, or because we're not just trying to help out the kids for Christmas. We're trying to help out the hurricane victims and stuff like that too. So yeah, man, like I said, if you want to get with Joe, anything that you want to donate, just get with Joe. Joe will get with me. I'll send an address. Please, brother, add me on Facebook. Again, it's Shane Eugene Timmons. I do a podcast as well. I'd love to have you on. Wizard, you and me, we have conversations coming soon in January.
Oh boy.
We do.
Yes,
What's
sir.
that about,
We sure
CZ?
do.
What?
But yeah, like I said, man, I just wanted to plug that because I know we all have kids and or grandkids or whatever, and yeah, hurricane victims are struggling, and all of us are sitting snug in our homes, and this year for Christmas time, and yeah, we just want to get back, man. But AECW, we love the kids, we love the families. Cult X loves the families, we love the kids. We just want to get back, Cult X, we're doing a huge gift bag, figures, signed merch, free merch, whatever. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to plug that really quick just to let you guys know. So if you guys want to post that, add me on Facebook. Again, Shane Eugene Timmons. Add me on Facebook. You'll see the post. Share the hell out of that, man. Let's make these kids who need to have a hell of a Christmas, man. Like, I want them to have a very merry Xmas, if you will.
I just want to add one more comment. It's fine. It's fine. I like how that's your inspiration. It might sound goofy to some, but my all-time hero in life is John Cena, and not because of the wrestling, but because of all the good he does.
What he does.
And when I put this idea together and I thought, how can I help? That was the first guy I took inspiration from. I was like, that's my hero. I might not be able to help in the capacity that he has, but if I can help just like 1% of that, that, that's the guy that really made me want to even help people and makes me a better person on a day-to-day basis. So if I owe anyone credit for me trying really hard to get into the charity giving part, it's my hero, John Cena, for sure.
And that's the thing I have to say really quick. Yes, John Cena, the most giving professional wrestler of all time. Like, he's on my Mount Rushmore just for what he does outside.
Me too. If I ever meet him, I'm going to cry.
You and me both, brother.
All right. So, gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and go wrap this up real quick. Rob, where can the people find you at, sir?
MLW Confusion is on almost every major podcast hosting platform. So just simple search, just like how I've spelled it on here. Or even if you don't include the hyphen, it'll probably pop up anyway. With social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky, where we're migrating in mass, all at the Nova of Cast, like it is on the screen. Facebook and TikTok are MLW Confusion, all one word.
All right. Thank you, sir. Let me go ahead and bring you up in the single screen. That way people can see that for you. All right. Jesse, where in the heck can they find you and, your Make-A-Wish child at?
All right. So you could find us on Facebook and YouTube, Ring Post Daily. You can also find myself or you gentlemen if you want to link up. Just Jesse Henrik here on Facebook. I'd love to link up with you guys, do any sort of collaborations you're looking for. You can catch us, the Ring Post Daily, this Thursday. We will be live on not Facebook, but we'll have the link for you to join us on Facebook. We'll be discussing the way too early predictions for the WrestleMania card. Myself, Joey, and we have 3 other hosts that will also be on the call. So if you'd like to join us for that, we'd love to have you. Otherwise, thank you.
We do have to give them a shout out though. Like shout out to the guys that help us make the show possible. Tyreek Ramsey, who I'm kind of feuding with right now, but I still love the guy. My wrestler Eddie Wade and the Dark Horse Austin Cochran. And without them, it's just 2 guys talking.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. Wiz, where the heck can the people find you at Card Subject to Change?
Well, we are Card Subject to Change podcast on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube, and X. We are at CSTC Podcast. You can find me. You can just look up at the Wizard CZ on most social medias, or just the Wizard CZ, and you can find me there. But yeah, we're Card Subject to Change podcast on Facebook is our primary hub right now.
All righty. James Kendrick, the man with the plan, the man who needs a WWE ID, I think. That's just my personal preference, opinion. But where can the fine people find you?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I have a Twitter, but I'm not on it all the time. So, but basically, it's Twitter.
It's always going to be Twitter to me.
Sure you don't want to
on
make
Facebook. So, yeah, just find me, James Kendrick. So, about it, man.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. Shane, Mad Scientist himself. Where can they find you in the cult at?
All right, so you can find Cult X on Facebook at cult.x on Facebook. Hit that search bar. Follow us, like what we're doing. Again, we're the good guys. You can find me on my personal page at Shane Eugene Timmons. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Shooting with Shane, SWS. By the way, shout out to the Wizard because he's going to be officially the first guest back. Season 4, SWS, Shooting with Shane is coming back. The Wizard is going to be the first guest. Can't wait to talk to him about professional wrestling. So, just wait.
Too sweet. 4's down. And don't forget.
4's down. The sheepdogs. The sheepdogs are here. The sheepdogs are here. Get that new Cult X merch, man. That's the brand new Cult X shirt. Again, you can order that on Facebook at Cult X. Hit that search bar, get that Cult X Sheepdog shirt. It's the new shirt. Shout out to Justin Danger who created that idea.
All right, awesome. Thank you all for coming on, folks. This has been probably one of the longest episodes of the roundtable that we have had. But I appreciate you all coming on. We had a great time. We talked about factions, argued whose is the best.
Cult X.
Probably didn't really argue, but we agreed mostly.
Cult X.
Cult X, right?
Joe knows.
I know best. Joe knows best. Not Hogan. But if you love and support professional wrestling, always, always, always love support the crazy sport of professional wrestling. But if you're going to be a troll, much like probably Joey, shut up and enjoy professional wrestling. Thank you all so much. Mark, go ahead and roll us out, buddy.
Did you like the video? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all of our social media outlets. We'll see you next time.